Hello there, and you're very welcome to our last Sunday game of the year. Now, every broadcaster likes to end a series on high, and that's what we're doing tonight. On the biggest day of the hurling year, as Kilkenny celebrate after their great victory in the All-Ireland final, we bring you in-depth reaction and analysis on how the big game was won and lost. We'll name our man of the match, our team of the year, and reflect on a great display in the minor final. But first, all eyes to Croke Park for the first All-Ireland hurling final replay since 1959.
For us, it's another game and one we want to win.
You know, the prize is still there to be gotten now. We're both going to go hammer and tongs to get it.
Off as far as Canning, looking for latitude. He's made a lot of ground. He's scored a wonderful goal. And here is Niall Burke, and there is a response. What a time to get it.
15 lads go out on the field, there's 15 leaders there, and the name captain doesn't come into it.
They've won one and one is being drawn, but the next day we'll wait and see.
Very much the dominant figure in that line at this stage. Could have been as far as Henry Shefflin gets away from Hines, and Shefflin strikes it. And Shefflin's the one who puts the teams on terms. In towards Henry Shefflin, breaks it to himself. Shefflin! Colin Fennelly saved! It's all over. No cup today, but a lot of good memories.
Yes, lots to look forward to. And with us in studio to give us their reflections on the big game, I'm delighted to welcome Cyril Farrell, Donal O'Grady and Eddie Brennan. And they'll be selecting the man of the match and naming the Sunday game team of the year later in the programme. Well, there's lots of excitement in the studio this evening, but I'm sure it pales into insignificance with the atmosphere at the Winners' Hotel. Let's go there now and join Michael Lester.
Well, after all the trials and tribulations of this year's dramatic hurling championship, it is indeed Kilkenny who have claimed the Liam McCarthy Cup, and they've taken it tonight here to City West Hotel in Saggart, where they're having their victory celebration. And although the arrival of the Cup here has something of a familiar feel to it, of course, down through the years, no less enthusiastic and joyful reception here by the thousands of Kilkenny supporters who have shown up for the arrival of the team. Well, through the course of the night here, you'll be visiting us. We will be talking to some of the main players, both on the field and on the sideline. And later on as well, we'll have that famous announcement, the man of the match from the 2012 All-Ireland Hurling Final replay.
All right, we're looking forward to that. But first, let's head to Croke Park for the big game. We've waited 3 long weeks for the 2012 Hurling Championship to be resolved. The talking's over, the stage is set for the big replay. In front of an attendance of over 82,000 at Croke Park, it's Kilkenny versus Galway.
Anthony Cunningham and his Galway selectors faced one major injury worry for this replayed final. But the good news is that James Scahill is able to play, and the team is unchanged from 3 weeks ago. The team is skippered by cornerback Fergal Moore, playing his 25th championship game, while Galway's main scoring threat continues to be number 14, Joe Canning. Brian Cody's Kilkenny shows 2 changes from the drawn match, with Killian Buckley and Walter Welch coming in to replace Colin Fennelly and Aidan Fogarty. Buckley is listed to start at right half forward, but could equally play at midfield, while fellow under-21 Walter Welch is given the full forward berth alongside TJ Reid and Henry Shefflin. Out it comes again towards Andy Smith, and Smith sets Galway away, all the way down towards Joe Canning. Two players there marking, and one of them is JJ Delaney. Not a good clearance out only as far as Niall Burke. Picked up here by Cyril Donnellan. Donnellan trying to get a bit of latitude here. Back it goes towards Niall Burke. A little block on it. Comes to Tommy Welch, and Tommy Welch diagonally across field. Over towards the left half forward, TJ Reid, wearing number 13. And again, the referee sees a push here, and it's going to be a free for Galway. This time I think the man doing the pushing was TJ Reid. Joe Canning's going to take this from his own 65-metre line, looking for the first score of the match here for Galway, and he positions it perfectly. First score of the game comes in the 6th minute from a free. Joe Canning, the man who puts it over. Out it comes here. Running into trouble there, however, Niall Donoghue, leaving it behind as far as Owen Larkin. And Owen Larkin fouled as he was going through. Chance of an equaliser here coming up for Kilkenny. And it'll be Henry Shefflin, I imagine, who will stand over it in the end.
Yeah, Niall Donoghue caught in possession. A bit of inexperience showed. He really should have turned back. Johnny Cohen was loose behind him, and Owen Larkin won it there.
Interesting how Henry Shefflin didn't take the first couple of frees in the original match. That was entrusted to Richie Parr. He's taking over here. That's 1 out of 2, and the teams are level. Henry Shefflin pulling this one over. Nearly 7 minutes are gone. Again, it's taken there by Ciara Joyce in as far as TJ Reid. Very classy hurler. Nicely forward here. And that is Walter Walsh. And that will do his confidence a power of good on his debut, putting Kilkenny 2 in front. Kilkenny 3, Galway 1.
Well, this could work out to be a masterstroke. Walter Walsh has been put in specifically to keep Johnny Cohen out of the game. He's been Galway's most influential back all summer. He's won a great ball already a minute ago, and now that one over the bar.
This one lands in the hands of Tony O'Gregan, trying to get the hand pass outside. A bit slack, breaks down. Henry Shefflin takes, puts over the bar. Playing on the 40, Henry Shefflin's now got 3. That's the first one to come from play, and Kilkenny by 2, 4-2. 14 minutes are gone.
Yeah, you're definitely seeing a big change in Kilkenny's forwards. They're tackling much harder. That was a mistake, though, again by Tony O'Gregan. You know, he should have really got the hand pass away, and you can't be gifting scores like that to Henry Shefflin.
Once again, it's taken neatly here by Jackie Tyrrell, and back into the forwards it comes. In towards Henry Shefflin. He broke it down, intended for a colleague, but instead it's come out here, and it's coming away here by Johnny Cohen. Trying to drop it into the forwards there, in towards Damien Hayes in there as well. James Regan in the red helmet comes out to Hayes. Makes a bit of space for himself back as far as here. Latanian from 65 metres out. Lets it in dangerously. David Burke. Galway get a vital goal. First of the match. Well, they managed to keep one-on-one there, and when it came into David Burke, he managed to finish. TJ Reid at the other end has put it over the bar and got a point back. But a goal coming after 16 minutes for David Burke has certainly lit up this match, and the teams are level. Galway a goal and 2, Kilkenny 5 points.
Yeah, David Burke made a great run there from off the ball in over the top. And I'm not sure if he knew what he was doing. It's a great finish, but I'm not sure if he did. But it ended up in the back of the net. But interestingly, Kilkenny poked it out straight away, picked it out of the net. Tommy Walsh played a long ball, and TJ Reid caught it over the bar. Great start to this game.
I thought it was very interesting that Galway managed to bring back their 2 corner forwards and leave David Burke in there in the full forward position. Right now, it's Richie Hogan here, surrounded. TJ Reid tries to take it, manages to take it away here. 22 metres out from the Galway goal, has to get rid of it. Back there here, Latanian, back there as well as Joe Canning. 2 men with red helmets. Into the forwards it goes, this time in there as far as Cyril Donnellan in touch with Hayes. Another one! David Burke's got a second! 2 goals in the space of a minute by David Burke. 2-2 to 5 points. It's Galway by 3.
Jared, that's as good a goal as you're ever going to see in an All-Ireland final. 2 brilliant passes. Damien Hayes, what he does so well. First of all, Cyril Donnellan, great catch, lays it off. But look at Damien Hayes, straight away switches the play, and David Burke puts it away. And what a passage to play there. Richie Hogan had the ball, it was taken off him. Latanian numbered the Galway players back, and look where Joe Canning was, delivered a long ball from about 40 yards from his own goal. What a goal by Galway.
Galway getting the 2 goals. 2-2 to 5 points. Kilkenny's defence absolutely ripped apart there by the sheer movement of Galway. And it wasn't Joe Canning, he was in midfield at that stage. Back comes Owen Larkin. Kilkenny now needing a boost. Larkin, the captain, stopped there by Scahill. And in it goes, Richie Power. In the 19th minute, it's Richie Power who scores for Kilkenny and makes it 2-2 to 1-5.
And it looks, Richie Power took a stroke after that, but he got up straight away there. Look at this now, Owen Larkin straight through. Maybe could have passed it out to the left. Good save by James Scahill. Richie Power, like all good corner forwards, in on top of it and flicked it into the net.
Well, James Scahill wasn't able to clear it away properly here once he made this save, Michael.
Much choice there, I think. Jared came at his head, he saved it and it just bounced out to that angle.
Back come Kilkenny again. Tommy Walsh. Well, the body blow of the 2 goals, the perfect response then, that goal by Richie Power, and we've got quite an All-Ireland final, as we anticipated. Teams level. Packed house, Croke Park looking magnificent. It's going to be a line ball to Kilkenny. It'll be TJ Reid taking this one straight to Irlitanian, looking to get away without a booking. In came Owen Larkin, and Owen Larkin flashes it over the bar. His first point. Got 2 points in the draw match 3 weeks ago. He's now made it 1-6 to 2-2, or Kilkenny by 1.
Yeah, great hook there by Richie Hogan, working hard like all the Kilkenny forwards are doing tonight. Just watch him coming out here. Great hook. Irlitanian never saw him, and Owen Larkin overpicked it and a simple score over the bar. 7
scores so far for Kilkenny, 4 for Galway, but those 2 Galway goals, both scored by David Burke, crucially important. Pressure on, Jackie Tyrrell once again with Cyril Donlan over there. In came Damien Hayes. Jackie Tyrrell has it, pursued by those 2 Galway players, needing a little bit of help. Hayes pinching it, knocking it back into space here, intended for David Collins. Running all the way back is Andy Smith, further back, and he's given it away here as far as Richie Power, Kilkenny's goal scorer, from a huge distance out. How about that for a score? That's magnificent. Goal and a point by Richie Power, and people were saying, you know, he was lucky to stay in the team. If Colin Fennelly got dropped, if Aidan Fogarty got dropped, he could have got dropped as well. But he's on, and he scored a goal and a point.
Yeah, but that's, you know, to me, that's at least 3 points that have come directly from mistakes by the Galway. You know, they gave away a ball to Henry Shefflin earlier.
Huge one downfield again. Donohue's under it, so too Richie Power breaks it into the centre. Henry Shefflin takes it. Shefflin sees a player loose inside him and finds him brilliantly, and it's Walter Welch, and that one has gone over the bar. A second point for big Walter Welch, the UCD student, and Brian Cody rubbing his hands with some delight. That decision to play him has been a very successful one, but it was the pass that made it possible for Walter Welch.
That's it, the division there, you know, it was David Collins got caught in 2 minds, didn't know whether to go to Henry Shefflin or not. He gained possession, and you know, a lovely ball straight into Walter Welch's hand, he couldn't miss.
This puck out again has gone to a Kilkenny player, and they're back once again, ruthlessly storming forward. Henry Shefflin, over. 5 for Henry Shefflin. Well, this man gave one of the greatest performances ever in an All-Ireland hurling final in the second half last time, and he's doing something similar here.
Yeah, he's drifting left and right, you know, he's dictating the game. A brilliant score again there, but Galway, look, they need to really now win a bit of possession around the half-forward line and get into this game. You know, they got 2 goals there really against the run of play, and they've gone out of the game again since then.
In as far as Richie Hogan this time, wearing number 9, playing it full forward, and such a smart operator, really gifted player. He's very much a big game performer, and he's made it 1-11 to 2-2. 12 scores for Kilkenny, still only 4 for Galway, and they've gone a long time now, Galway, without scoring since the 17th minute.
Yeah, Jaron, that's all the Kilkenny forwards now have scored from play.
Cooney beaten, that was brilliantly taken in the air there by Richie Hogan in midfield, was drifted out. Brian Hogan, his namesake, now wearing number 31 in the yellow helmet, making some progress, fancying a point himself, and it's stopped on the line by James Scahill, and Scahill stumbles. Walter Welch coming in, and the goalkeeper in difficulty, helped out by David Collins, and the goalkeeper and the full forward tangled for a moment. Thankfully it has ceased and play continues.
Jaron, I'm not sure how comfortable James Scahill looks after that, you know. Put his arm the way he's holding it there.
Fergal Flannery is the sub-goalkeeper wearing number 16, so he's in there in place of James Skehill. Big long one down towards Richie Hogan once again. He's having quite a match, causing major problems and underlining that with a lovely point here, point in each half for the very talented Richie Hogan, and really a big handful for Kevin Hines down there.
Yeah, absolutely. And one possession there again, and simple score, tapped it over the bar. That's the difference between the teams. Kilkenny are scoring freely.
Trying to play it out here was Killian Buckley. Finally it's back with Andy Smith, and a chance of a score here for Andy Smith, and he's put it over the bar. Beautifully done. He's a great driving force in midfield, Andy Smith, and that's his first point, and Galway's first point of the match to come from play. Back again it comes for Kilkenny, trying to build another attack here. Walter Welch trying to reach down to his bootlaces to get that ball up. Not easy when you're 6'3", 6'4". Ball comes back up here again, dangerously so, to Damien Hayes. Hayes looking for a bit of room. Back to Cyril Donnellan. Still Donnellan, and the referee has blown his whistle. Doesn't count. The whistle went before the shot, and the goal doesn't count. David Burke's incensed. All the Galway fans all around Croke Park are annoyed by that, but the whistle did go, and there wasn't any advantage given.
I know it did, Ger, but you'd have to say Damien Hayes was more fouled, I'd say, than Cyril Donnellan, and Donnellan was through, you know, given the benefit. Damien Hayes was definitely pulled back there. It should have been a free, it wasn't given. Then he gets out here, gives the ball here now. Donnellan breaks through, and like, where was the foul there? He just broke the tackle, there was no foul, and
it probably was for the earlier one, so 5 points still between them rather than 2. Joe Canning is going to take this free. It is a big call.
It's a big call at this stage. He'll probably tap it over the bar.
The angle is a bit tight for him, so he does do exactly that. And now it's 5 points for Joe Canning.
That's a big turning point in the game. And as far as I can see, Sir Donnellan wasn't fouled. He just broke the tackle and buried the ball, and I think that the free should have been given.
In as far as Henry Shefflin. Shefflin beats his man Cooney, goes after him, and Shefflin takes too many steps, and it's a free out. A decision going against Henry Shefflin. Free to Galway. Chance for them to launch another attack. It's taken quickly by Tony O'Gregan into those forwards, who look to have plenty of scores among them if they can get decent ball in there in front of David Herity's goal. 2 goals from play in the first half. They're appealing this one here, in particular Cyril Donnellan. Linesman is there, is John Sexton from Cork, originally from Limerick. And it's a line ball given to Galway.
Yeah, interesting to see. I think it might have been the other way, but
it's Joe Canning who's got to take it. Well, he's been known to put these over. Can he do so? He certainly can. Oh, that's his trademark signature skill. Brilliantly done by Big Joe, who's got a 6th. And now it's 113 to 2-7.
Absolutely brilliant skill, and now we have a game in our hands. We'll have to say Galway have settled down really now and playing with much more freedom than they did in the first half.
In as far as Niall Burke, running into a lot of Kilkenny players. David Burke, his namesake, in the green helmet, number 10, trying to come in to help. Picked up again by Niall Burke. Slipped off there as far as Joe Canning. Off the post and back out. How did that stay out? It comes as far as TJ Reid, and it's a huge let off for Kilkenny. Galway with 1 goal disallowed already, and now Joe Canning has hit the butt of the upright. Henry Shefflin at the other end, 65 metres from the Galway target, picks out a colleague over there. It's young Killian Buckley, the 20-year-old UCD student, who puts it over the bar. First point for him in this final, and Kilkenny fans are much happier. They lead once again by 4, but there's a long time to go. We're only in the 13th minute of the second half.
Yeah, Ger, but that's a 4-point swing, and that's a great score by Killian Buckley, a young player from the middle of the field, and he's done very well today.
Well, there's no time for Galway to feel sorry for themselves. They've got plenty of time to do something about the scoreline. Tommy Welch trying to get the ball out. He was felled after he played it away, and James McGrath goes in quickly, checks with his linesman over there, Barry Kelly, another Westmeath man, to see whether he got a better view of what happened. But there was, I think, a late challenge there on Tommy Welch, and the player who's got to be spoken to. It's a red card for Cyril Donnellan.
I think the hurl was swung back. And it was Barry Kelly who called it. Now the linesman called it. He was right beside it. But you can see, as the JJ Delaney coming off, his head is split here. He's jogging off there, and
let's have a look at it again. 49 minutes in.
Yeah, he swung straight across the head. JJ Lenny was holding him back a bit and he swung back and hit him, and JJ's gone off there with a head injury as well.
So Galway lose a man. They are 4 points behind, and Noel Hickey is going to come on as a temporary sub, I imagine, wearing number 17. So Noel Hickey, one of those hoping to collect a medal here today, which would be his 9th. Watching as Richie Power takes it in his stride and flawlessly glides it over the bar. He's got a goal and 2 points now, Richie, trying to emulate what his dad has done before and pick up yet another All-Ireland medal here. His dad, Richie Senior, was a star in the 80s, and Richie's starring here, and it's 115 to 2-7. It's 15 against 14 as well, of course. TJ Reid couldn't take it in his stride, but it comes back out here, and that is Walter Welch. He's got 3 points. Well, I was talking to Eddie Kerr yesterday about his debut in a replay back in 1959. He came on as a sub that day. He told me Walter started and he's got 3 against Anthony Cunningham's team. This is out again as far as Richie Power. Chasing after him, Damien Hayes trying to hook him. Did enough. Tony O'Gregan from 65 metres out from his own goal. This would be a good point if it goes over. It's a great score. It's his first point in this year's championship, and Tony O'Gregan gets it back to a 7-point difference once again, 118 to 2-8. Richie Power this time stepped on over the sideline. Ball was in play clearly. It's Richie Hogan, and who got that last point across towards Henry Shefflin, runs on to TJ Reid. Very awkward angle here, trying to make a better angle for himself. Cohen's in front of him, and that time it comes back, but it's put in the back of the net brilliantly, and that should be that. Walter Welch, his first ever goal in the championship, coming here in the final. He makes it 219 to 2-8, a goal after 58 minutes. A goal and 3 for Big Walter. TJ Reid initially turning inside Johnny Cohen, and watch as Flannery, the goalkeeper, got his stick to it, batted it out, only for Big Walter Welch to be right on hand and place it in the back of the Galway net. Comes back in here once again, Andy Smith trying to cause a little bit of consternation for the Kilkenny backs, but Galway players almost doing it like individuals at this stage. The greater measurement is coming from Kilkenny. It's a measured approach all the way from Killian Buckley in there as far as the substitute, and Colin Fennelly announces his return by putting it in the back of the Galway net. Goal number 3 for Kilkenny, and now they are simply routing Galway. He's not on too long, Colin Fennelly, but he's got another goal here, and the manager is happy.
Well, Brian Cuddy is going to be thrilled. You know, he got it bang on today. Walter Walsh and Johnny Cohen did his job, took him off, and Colin Fennelly coming on, obviously very disappointed not to be playing. Hungry, used his strength there, held off the defender, and one-handed into the back of the net.
And there is number 17, Noel Hickey, and Kieran Joyce is the one who makes way on this occasion.
Yeah, what a servant Noel Hickey has been to Kilkenny over the years, and coming on here now also to win his 9th All-Ireland. Obviously didn't start them all, but an absolutely brilliant full-back over the years. Jackie
Tyrrell waited, this time stepping in is Johnny Glynn. What about that? Galway want to finish with a flourish. They may be beaten, but they're not completely and absolutely down, and they have young stars to look ahead to at future years, like 19-year-old Jonathan Glynn, and this was a fair old rasper, and that is the 6th goal of this final. Galway finishing with Damien Hayes here, trying to set up another chance for Joe Canning, and that one has gone over the bar brilliantly from play this time. He's got 9 points in this final, but it's the final whistle, and Kilkenny are the winners, the masters here. 11 points between the teams at the end. Kilkenny once again the All-Ireland champions, and another triumph for Brian Cody. And there you see Henry Shefflin, first man to win 9 All-Ireland medals out on the field of play, and that McCarthy Cup going back down to Kilkenny tomorrow night. They've all played their part. Tommy Welsh there jumping for joy. The honours stacking up really for this, the greatest hurling team that we've been privileged to see. A day of bitter disappointment for Galway, Well, they knew all along that trying to beat Kilkenny twice in the one championship season was going to be a big ask. He got 9 points, Joe Canning. He held his nerve in the draw match and took it to a replay. But it's been all about Kilkenny from the time Galway went down to 14 players after 49 minutes when Cyril Donlan was dismissed for a straight red card. 6 wins for Kilkenny in the last 7 years. An amazing record, and it is party time once again for Kilkenny and their hurlers. Final score, it's Kilkenny 3 goals and 22 points, Galway 3 goals and 11. Liam O'Neill, GAA president, handing over the Liam McCarthy Cup to Owen Larkin of James Stephens, captain of Kilkenny, champions of Ireland, All-Ireland winners 2012. Celebration time. Very popular captain Owen Larkin. Had a great game in the league final when they won that back in May, and now he's captained the team in the replay to win the championship.
Hútar na Héireann, hútar Cumann Luke Lascale, a Gwini Úsla, agus a Carja. Is in talk on law seo, Dov Winter Kilkenny Galair. It's a great honour that I stand up here and collect this cup on behalf of these Kilkenny players. We've had great times in the past, and today is another chapter in that story. The other record we want to know is 9 All-Ireland senior hurling titles for Kilkenny. Thanks a million, Brian Cody. Lastly, I'd like to thank Galway. It was a great sporting game. You've come on an awful lot over the year and you've took your first Leinster title. I have no doubt you'll be back again. 3 cheers for Galway. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip. One more thing. Ladies and gentlemen of Kilkenny, Liam McCarthy is coming home to the North once more.
Well, I am here at City West Hotel where the Kilkenny Victory Banquet is in full flow, I can tell you. I'm here at the moment with Liam McCarthy, but also, more importantly, with Kilkenny's winning captain, Owen Larkin, and also, of course, their most successful manager, Brian Cody. Gentlemen, you're very welcome indeed. Owen, I'll talk to you about the match in a moment. But first of all, we have to talk to you about the song there at the end. Now, Michael Murphy, of course, Michael Murphy did Jimmy's winning matches last week out of the football final. Now, this is not sour grapes from a Galway point of view, but I thought Murphy shaded it on the singing front.
I had no doubt he would, Michael, but Tommy Welch put me under a bit of pressure and up in the Hogan stand, so I had to give in.
Tommy Welch puts a lot of people under pressure. Owen, it's a fantastic thing to play for Kilkenny, to win All-Ireland medals as you've done, but of course to captain a team on a day like today was special.
Yeah, you know, it was a huge honour for me when my club appointed me captain, and you know, I was honoured to take that captaincy, but to captain a winning team is something surreal and probably won't hit me for another couple of years to come. People wondered after the drawn match whether Kilkenny could push on and show the enthusiasm for the replay and get up to that level. And you left nobody in any doubt today about it. Yeah, well, no, I think the credit has to go there to Brian and the management and the backroom staff, you know, that had us praying for today. And, you know, we didn't do a whole lot of work over the past 3 weeks. we've done a bit of recovery the first week and a bit of hurling the second week, and then just sharpening off the third week.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of credit has to go to them for that.
Well, we give every credit to Brian Cody. Congratulations, Brian. 9 All-Ireland titles under your tenure. That's a fantastic achievement. This year, of course, looking back at the championship in general, you, as in Kilkenny, had to do this slightly differently than some other years.
That's right, Michael. Yeah, you know, we won the league final, you know, back in whenever it was, and then we came into the championship, and you know, we had to prepare very, very well for the first Leinster semi-final against Dublin, because Dublin were a team that could seriously trouble us. We felt, and we prepared well for that, and then we got over that well. But Leinster final then against Galway, you know, Galway completely out-hurled us, and we lost that. So, you know, certainly that was the All-Ireland semi-final. Straight entry into that was gone. So we had Limerick then in the quarter-final. Yeah. And a team that was going well, a lot of, you know, good, very good young players, and we stumbled along for a while in that, but we picked it up in the second half, and good semi-final against Tipperary. And you know, then the last day when, you know, we could have been beaten, we could have won. As they end up, Galway scored equaliser in the last puck of the game, if you like. But in the first half, they had seriously troubled us as well. So today was a huge challenge for us. You know, it's the last Sunday in September. It's been a long year. But I suppose, to win it was absolutely terrific altogether. But to win it playing so very, very well too was really something special.
You obviously looked at things from the last day. You made some big calls for today's replay in terms of changes in the team.
Yeah, well, I suppose to be perceived as being big calls. I mean, I don't, Mick Martin and myself pick the team, and we just pick as we see we think we should pick it, and didn't see them as being particularly big, to be honest about it. Very, very difficult. The players who didn't start, very, very difficult not to start those players. But the players who did start, who hadn't started the last day, they were just standing out in training, I suppose, really, you know, and putting their hands up, and you go with what you think is the right thing to do, and you know. But it was essentially a team effort, a panel effort, really, you know. And I think that's been our strength really over the years. It's not just the team, but it's the whole panel working together, and the way the players were pushed in training by the other players who were not getting the opportunity to start. Yeah. So when you do get a chance to start, you have to respect the fact that there's fellas there who are perfectly entitled to start as well.
One last question, Owen, to yourself. Now, I suppose I should ask this of Brian Cody. I know he'll sidestep the answer. 9 All-Ireland titles. Is he going to go for the 10?
I'd be very surprised if he doesn't, Michael, but you know, Brian will make up his own mind over the next couple of months, and I'm sure we'll see him again. All right.
Lads, as one of our panellists said to me during the second half when you were stretching out the lead, he says, you know what, this is their some team. You certainly are. Old Larkin, Brian Cody. Many, many thanks indeed. Congratulations. Thanks, Des. All right, Des, that's it for the moment from here, but we're back with more people to talk to from City West Hotel in a little while.
OK, we look forward to that, Michael. Well, let's get some reaction here. I'm just looking at Twitter reaction, for instance, Eddie, now, about Brian Cody. Between his All-Irelands as a player and a manager, 13 All-Irelands. The same number of All-Irelands that Offaly, Galway, Waterford and Clare have between them. Some stat, isn't it?
Unbelievable stat. You know, I suppose what hasn't been said about the man. For me, I suppose, look, I was lucky to work under him, but, you know, we've seen this year, I suppose, was a little bit more difficult for Kilkenny, but I think Brian Cody, the biggest thing that he's brought to Kilkenny, I suppose, is just his own. He's so hungry for it, and he has kept the team motivated for so long. And I think his enthusiasm, you know, we fed off that as players. I know I did when I was there, but this year, I suppose, they've had to do it the hard way, and they look to be under pressure. And I think once again, you know, his passion for Kilkenny, for his pride in Kilkenny, ultimately is what, you know, he takes huge pride in that. And ultimately, I suppose, that filtered through to the players. But what an achievement as a manager. Unbelievable.
It is indeed. But if that follows through to the players, Donald, I mean, they're ruthless. Like, they had Galway beaten, but they were still driving on. The lads coming in, all obviously naturally trying to score goals.
Well, I suppose, Des, you get one chance in an All-Ireland final, and every fella, you know, particularly people up front, they'd like to go home with feeling like that, you know, you've had a point or two there. But, you know, I think the great challenge for Brian and for, you know, Mick Dempsey and Martin Fogarty were to get the team right over the 3 weeks, and I think they did that. They first of all stabilised the defence. They went away from the man marking, chasing players all around the place. They played in their positions, and then he had to make big calls up front. He said they weren't big calls, but I think they were big enough. He knew he had to change the forwards, and, you know, Walter Walsh, inspirational selection. I think that he completely unhinged the Galway defence, and Killian Buckley played a very good holding role in the middle of the field. So they deserve the kudos, and as Eddie said, right, huge feat again, and what a manager to have, and he has kept Kilkenny, we'll say, hungry all through this, and that's a very, very difficult thing to do.
OK, we'll look at the game in more detail and where you think it was won and lost presently. But Cyril, for Galway, I mean, Kilkenny did up their game. Were Galway inferior to the last?
Jez, you look at the build-up going into the game. Galway Friday night, James Cahill under huge pressure, dislocated shoulder, injury doubts about Joe Cannon, a bit of pressure during the week. You compare that to Kilkenny. Brian Cody, don't mind what he says there, he made a great call. He re-energised the team by bringing on Walter Welch and Young Buckley. Now, they played under 21 hurling championship hurling this year, played OK, but didn't set the world alight. But by bringing them on, he was putting pressure on the team, on the panel, and on himself. And he freshened up that team, and especially the way he placed them. Richie Hogan went in full forward, very, very tricky, very, very skillful, good in the air. But Walter Welch, 6'4", and Johnny Cohen about 5'11", good in the air. And early on especially, Tommy Welch and Brian Hogan, they lorried the high ball in the top, and he used his strength out there. And all over the place, Killian Buckley Avenue was going to go midfield, but all over the park, there was just more energy in Kilkenny. They were completely on top, and we're lucky not to be more than 4 up at half-time. They're the best team by far that I've ever seen, and they've proven it again. And unless something can come up, they're going to be there for another while.
All right, then, thanks for now, lads. Well, coming up, man of the match, our team of the year. But next, it's our panel's big match analysis.
Centra, sponsors of the GAA Hurling Championship.
Now, more GAA coverage coming up on RTE this week. On Thursday, believe it or not, the championship draw for 2013 takes place. It's on RTE2 live at 7:30. And on Sunday at 8 o'clock, highlights from the ladies' football finals at Croke Park. There should be great action there. That's on RTE2. Now, we'll be going back to the victorious Kilkenny Hotel shortly for the man of the match, and we'll be naming our team of the year and reflecting on the minor final. But first, let's analyse how the Cats won the All-Ireland with Cyril, Donal and Eddie. And Eddie, getting back to this point about how Kilkenny set it up in the full forward line and the dramatic changes there.
Well, I suppose when we looked at the previous 2 clashes with Galway, the Kilkenny forwards, had been contained. So I suppose it was going to be vitally important how they set up today. And, I suppose Walter Welch was the big call. I think a lot of people in Kilkenny probably held their breath when they seen the change. But for a young fella today making his debut in an All-Ireland final, he certainly showed no nerves. He got a couple of great scores in the first half to really set himself down. I mean, Johnny Cohen, as we mentioned earlier, was influential for Galway all year. But this fella, I'd seen him play in the Leinster final and he done well. He was able to see a pass and pick a score. But Richie Hogan's placing at full forward was probably a hugely significant thing. Something that Galway may not have planned for today. Very tricky fella. Close to the goal, I suppose, for me is a good place for Richie. I mean, the 2000 League final, he probably helped us get us over the line against Tipperary. But he's very strong in the air and deceptively strong. He's not the tallest, but he caught a couple of great balls. And he's able to see a pass as well. He's a very good head on his shoulders. He's able to pick out, as a forward, I suppose, he knows what the other forwards want. And this ultimately set up the goal for Walter Welch. And, I suppose, down in South Kilkenny and Tullogher Ross Berkin, it's going to be a huge night for him. There's been a very famous number 14 for Kilkenny in the neighbouring club in Glenmore in the form of Big Christy Heffernan. And I suppose Walter looks to be cut out of the same cloth, big fella. And, I suppose what a way to start your inter-county career.
Would there be quiet lads down in that neck of the woods?
There'll be tough yokes now. They're wild boys, but no doubt there'll be big bonfires. I think we passed through it a few years ago on a homecoming, and no doubt they'll be hugely proud of Walter tonight.
Yeah, well, isn't that great? That's fantastic.
What an occasion for him.
All right. Now, you felt, Cyril, that there were serious lessons learned, and you said to me that the teams that win replays are the ones who learn the most.
Yeah, well, like Kilkenny would feel that Galway would need a good start, and they took the game to Galway from the very start. And even when Galway were getting scores, the big thing was that Kilkenny were always going to hit back. Now here's a flick on. Now Johnny Cohen tries to get a flick, it actually hits his hand, but before Galway have time to regroup or kind of reset again, the puck out comes very fast. Next thing you'll see it here, it's gone back over the bar. TJ breaks onto the ball. So instead of being able to build on the score, in 30 seconds afterwards it's flashed over the bar. Now again, we're going to show again that Galway get another, probably a very, very good goal, a great move on this. This comes out of the field, Tanning gets out here, Cannon is way back to the field, it's a long ball in. Now it's a great ball, Cyril Donlan cuts some great balls there, catches a good one, flicks a lovely hand pass to Damien Hayes. There's a look, another hand pass across here, David Buckley in back of the net. Now that's 2 goals with inside 3 minutes, but again, there's like Kilkenny didn't let Galway settle. This is a ball that should definitely have been turned back. It hits the ground, it bounces through, and who gets onto it? Owen Larkin. Goes down the middle, cuts inside one, keeps going. Now he keeps going on and on. Good save here by Scahill, breaks out. But here's Richie Power flicking the wrist back at the net. So Galway never got a 5 or 10 minute spell after getting the scores, like to build on it and to get the momentum. They were rocked back again. It's Kilkenny were still the driving force to hold them, even Galway getting 2 goals inside 3 minutes.
Just a quick point on that. Cyril made the point that Joe Canning setting up that second goal with that long diagonal ball, but he played very deep today, didn't he?
Yeah, he has been doing this. He did it in the Leinster final, he did it in the semi-final against Cork. He seems to stay inside full forward for 4 or 5 minutes and then wanders around. And I think he may have been involved in the play in the freeze, and that's why he was that far back. But I mean, you know, for Galway had to have any chance today, I think they needed him up around the 20-metre line so he could feed off passes or make scores, because he's their top scorer. And if he gets a chance, you know, we saw he had a fantastic shot in the second half that just came off the butt of the upright. If that had ended up in the net, it would nearly been, I think there'd have been only a point behind or 2 points behind, and it might have given them the impetus. But you know, I think that's something that they'll have to look at in the years to come.
Take us through that key couple of minutes in the second half.
There was about 5 minutes there, Des, I think about the 43rd, 44th minute when you know, Galway had been under the cosh for a while, and then the defence started to get the grips with Kilkenny, and you know, Damien Hayes pushed the ball back there to Cyril Donlan. We just heard the whistle as he was hitting the ball there, right? Okay, a fantastic goal, and I think there'd have been only, you know, 2 points in it then. Now Damien Hayes was fouled here. I think maybe the ref was given advantage, but you know, it gets a little clip there, but you'd expect the play to be allowed to go on and let him finish the move. And again, it calls into question, I think, this silly rule about, you know, you see the referee with his hand up there, the silly rule of the advantage rule. How a player will realise he has the advantage or not with the referee 30 yards behind him, I don't know. But I think it's, you know, this was a situation. Joe got a chance here, hit the ball of the upright, and then Johnny Glynn failed to pick it up. Might have got a point at that stage, and you see how hard Kilkenny walked there. That's TJ Reid, who was playing up left half forward, picks the ball back up in his own, you know, 13-metre line, and great score here from Kilkenny. Henry Sheriff under severe pressure, but Killian Buckley was waiting for that pass for a long number of times, and nobody picked him up. I think Damien Hayes could have come back, but that point raised the siege. Kilkenny were really under pressure at that stage. That point raised the siege a bit, and you know, this decided the match really. There's, you know, a bit of an altercation here, if you can call it that. I think JJ Delaney held Cyril Donlan for a while, and he flicked back, and the referee had no option but to send him off, really. I mean, I think Barry Kelly was right on the spot. You see the flick back high, right, and I think Cyril can have no complaints. And it's a pity, because I think he was probably Galway's top forwards, and he was bringing the game to Kilkenny at that point. Once that happened, the game was over.
Frustration probably showing there, was it?
Yeah, frustration. I suppose ultimately, you know, it cost his team. We've seen an incident like that a few years ago. But I suppose today, the big thing for me as well, just touching back on it, Kilkenny's forwards opened up the Galway backs today. Galway's system was built on, you know, keeping it nice and tight at the back. And I think today we saw space in the Galway backs. We saw them under pressure. They weren't able to, you know, come out with as much ball as they did before. And that, for me, ultimately, Kilkenny went about their business. They didn't wait. You know, Galway had the measurement prior to that. But today, I think a few other players that maybe hadn't have been having good years up to now really came to the fore. You know, Richie Power picked off a couple of good scores. He got the goal. Owen Larkin picked up a lot of ball, worked very hard. And Richie Hogan, 2 great flicks in the first half, which led to 2 points. And that was the difference.
See, Des, as well, Galway's game all year has been lead from the front. I'd play a defensive game, lead from the front, hold on, and then on the break. Now, today was the first day that they were behind at half-time, deservedly, so they could be down a lot more. And there's a lot of new guys on the team. They had to go kind of chasing in, and as Eddie said then, when they did, there was terrible gaps at the back. It was their first day really to be under pressure. But that's what you know, when you come up against the best, like Kilkenny learned more from the drawing game the first day, without a shadow of a doubt.
One big talking point, clearly, Galway goalkeeper James Cahill got injured. Do they play him or do they not? And that proved to be a huge talking point. He was replaced at half-time subsequently.
Yeah, definitely huge talking point. It was all the talks since Friday, and you know, I think we've seen there even the doctor seemed to be with him. You know, I suppose maybe they're trying to pump him up a little bit, but the very first ball that he had to deal with, and this for me, look, should have been a bread and butter flick up and carry it out, but to see a goalkeeper kicking a ball out like that, it maybe, you know, gave you the, you know, was he as confident as he needed to be, and even this, you know, this. Look, that could happen to anyone. This wasn't nothing to do with the shoulder, but he just slipped there at the real wrong time, and look, he managed to avert the danger. He managed to get it out. You know, I don't think he done anything really wrong today. He didn't. His puck outs were still good, but I suppose for me anyway, you know, the day of, I mean, a dislocated shoulder is a serious injury. Normally could be 2 months, and we've seen him there afterwards. He was clearly in pain after that.
You could see him actually at the first clip, Eddie, where he kicked the ball out along the line. You could see him grimacing, and he was very reluctant to go down to pick it up. So obviously his shoulder, maybe he wasn't able to get, you know.
But for me, I suppose, look, in the present day, I think playing an injured player, you know, it's just, you know, maybe did it distract the team a little bit in the build up to the match? They were obviously concerned about him, and I suppose it was just a distraction maybe that Galway didn't need. Again, look, James.
Would Brian Cody have done that in your view?
It's hard to know. I suppose. Look, we're only here analysing what we see afterwards.
Yeah.
We have.
Well, I suppose that's to be fair to the Galway, and Brian
Yeah.
Cody in Eddie's time played a player or two, and they wound up. They thought they were okay, and they wound up having to come off, and they lost the match as well. But like
Henry,
yeah, like you know,
yeah. But you, at this level, if you play an injured player, you would be found out at some stage, right? And it was obvious, I think, after the first couple of minutes that Skehill wasn't right, and it proved it at half time when he had to be replaced.
All right, Cyril, it was 43 minutes before Galway got a point from play. That's not good.
Yeah, like in All-Ireland final, you'll get chances, and you have to be able to take all the chances that comes up for you. Like they did some great hurling, like you know, they got great scores, but they missed kind of vital ones that had drubbed them on. This is Galway kind of at a good stretch. Now Joe was very, very deep. This is probably their best score of the day, really. Great passing movement again. Donlan back to Hayes across to David Burke, and this is their second goal. But they don't build on this. Like they don't get a chance. Like Donlan did very well, perfect pass. Hayes looks up, another perfect pass. Change the hand, back in net. Now there's nothing the Kilkenny defence could do there. They don't build it. Now here's Joe Cannon coming through here. The ball comes in. Now everyone goes underneath this ball. This ball breaks out to Cyril Donlan. Doesn't get his first touch right. When he doesn't do it, now Killian Buckley did a kind of a rash clearance. He had 2 or 3 backs out, but he pucks it out long. There's 2 men underneath here. Italian catches the ball, doesn't go right, goes back on his left and floats in the ball and just goes wide. Now, there's in a final, you need to be nailing them scores. Yeah. Like if you're nailing them scores, you really put Kilkenny under pressure. But when you're not, like you're letting them off the hook and you're going to pay.
Donald, you felt there were other areas, though, apart from the shooting, that were Galway.
I felt that Galway were a bit flat days, and I was a bit surprised by their support play. We showed Damien Hayes on the ball here now, passes the ball back, but there's no movement. I think it goes back then to Andy Smith, but Tony O'Regan is the receiver, but he's static, and Richie Power comes from 10 or 15 yards behind. He could see what was going to happen, sticks the ball over the bar, and when you do that to a defence, it's a huge psychological boost for you. But you could see Galway plenty of times. Tommy Walsh there knocking the ball down, but you know they were under pressure. Now this is a little pop pass to Owen Larkin. There's 3 Galway players there, and Niall Donoghue takes him down, right, which to me is is a silly concession. And in an All-Ireland final or any championship match, you have to be very, very tight. Here again, TJ Reid lost his hurley. In my day, you'd be quite legitimate to pull across the ball, and if you got his foot, well, you know, that was a bonus. But takes him down needlessly when I think Tony O'Regan was coming in here to pick up the ball, and no need for it. I know you might say like maybe the game was gone at that stage, but you know you have to have a mindset all the time, like total discipline, and I don't think Galway had it today.
You said there you were entitled to pull on it if you got his foot. That was a bonus. Did you mean if you got the ball?
that was Donald's time for his foot back.
That was the thing. When the person lost the hurley and he was trying to play the ball on the foot, you're entitled to pull on the ball, and if you hit his foot, Eddie Brennan would know this well, right? Yeah, that was considered a bonus for a defender.
You'd be expected to be reasonably close to the ball, though.
You needed to hit the ball, because if you hit it over the ball, it was a free. It was the same thing.
I suppose what it highlights, Des, was I suppose today Kilkenny were on the front foot, and midfield was a key area as well the last couple of days, and I think Kilkenny probably balanced that today. You know, Mick Fennelly and Killian Buckley got on top, and just meant that Galway were giving away a few frees where they had to chase Kilkenny defenders, and they were forced to make our forwards and make a decision: do I let them on or do I take them down? And in them cases, there were stuff that Galway hadn't been doing all year.
All right, pardon me, Noel Hickey, 9 medals now, and Henry, of course.
Yeah, well, Henry is still the king.
King Henry the Ninth.
Yeah, he's still the king, like a fantastic hurler. Like you can't forget, today everyone's talking about it, but what about the last day when things are going bad? This guy is unbelievable for the last, 10 or 12 years, and like he does it every day. And when the chips are really down, Eddie knows him better than anyone. He delivers, and he delivers really on the big day.
Yeah, huge leadership. I suppose you take into consideration what he has been through as well with the injuries the man has suffered as well. And just to come back the last day, I think, you know, Kilkenny may not have been here at the replay were it not for Henry's performance the last day. You know, he pulled them back. You know, there's not enough superlatives to really compliment the man. What a player, but I think it's his leadership as well. You know, he just, and he has an enthusiasm, a bit like Brian Cody. He has a fierce enthusiasm for hurling. Hurling is everything to him, and I think the rest of the players feed off that as well. But look, what an achievement himself and Noel Hickey, 9 All-Ireland medals. It's massive.
8's not bad though, Eddie, in fairness.
No, but 9 is huge.
9 is special.
It's all about the team now at the moment.
And I think when you look back, as you said about when you look back at this year, right? Okay, it was his performance in the drawing game. Really, Kilkenny wouldn't have won without that. And I think that was the you know, that showed Henry, because you know when the chips were down, he puts his shoulder to wheel, as well as being a fantastic artist, but he was absolutely fantastic as a worker.
Okay. All right, then we'll be hearing again from the victorious Kilkenny Hotel. But first, let's spare a thought for poor old Galway, who put up such a brave battle today. This was their reaction afterwards.
They started well, then we came back, went ahead. You know, there was a lot of quick-fire scores there in the first half, and we were reasonably happy at half-time, 4 points down. Thought maybe the first 10 minutes of the second half we probably held the aces there. We were unfortunate with a goal that Joe Canning hit off the post, maybe a goal in the back of the net that was blown up early. So 2 or 3 chances like that, and I think Searle was very unfortunate of getting sent off. It wasn't in the spirit of the match. But you need to be able to take your chances when you're playing the mighty Kilkenny, and you know, we have no difficulty. The best team won, but it's something we want to get back to. We love playing here, and we want to be as good as they are and to beat them.
Your thoughts on the goal that was disallowed?
Yeah, I suppose in the general run of the mill of the match, it was, you know, refereed very well. But I suppose that time we thought, you know, advantage would have been allowed, and it was blown up for maybe a foul that we thought wasn't really a foul. But that happens. That's hurling. Today, you know, they got the breaks and they took them, and they deserved to win. And we didn't get those breaks, and you know, we're, as you said, chasing it after that.
Because had that goal been allowed to stand, it could have been a very big turning point.
Absolutely, and you know, it's certainly been on the field, and had, you know, those 2 or 3 incidents, and Joe's one gone in, so there were goals there. And look at, you know, we've no qualms. Better team won, and they took their chances, and we were in hard luck. But we're extremely proud of our panel, of our players, and you know, the bravery they've shown there, and the bravery probably of a very young side to come so close to beating Kilkenny, and having beaten them earlier this year, and come back, have, you know, gone very close the last day, and you know, again there today, you know, even though there was 11 points in it, but probably didn't really reflect, you know, that it was so close at times.
All right, it's tough obviously on the night of an All-Ireland final, Cyril, but in the overall broad context, it's been a good year for Anthony Cunningham.
Oh yeah, like look at they're starting from scratch. They've built a new team. They've gone for youth, and they've gone very, very well. They've taken a Leinster title. I know they'll be very, very disappointed. They had a game plan all year, and I suppose even talking with Eddie and Dawn today, kind of went away from it today. They weren't hunting in the packs. They seemed to be very flat, and they weren't covering back as much. They weren't playing like they were being caught. Galway were being kind of outmanoeuvred the whole time. But that's, look at, it's very hard to win an All-Ireland first time in. Yeah. Like it's bittersweet tonight. They'll be very, very sorry. But I think Galway people will realise it was great to be there. But the big thing is to get back there again next year.
Donald, Joe Canning's famous comments, do you think they would have had any impact?
Well, I suppose really, Des, they mightn't have had too much of an impact, but possibly, you know, it might have been mentioned here and there at training and whatever else, and that it would be, you know, managers use these maybe at times, and it might have been used as a point, like, look, we want to go out and prove and win this one with a bit of style and show what great sportsmen we are, as well as we can do it one way or the other and play it hard or play it fair. You know, it was probably mentioned, but they probably didn't make a big thing of it.
All right then. Let's go back then to the Victor's Hotel and rejoin Michael. All right, Des. Well, we are here still, of course, at City West Hotel in Sagard at the victory due for the Kilkenny team. With me, 2 more heroes of the day. Just 2 of them here at the table, but in actual fact, a van full of All-Ireland medals between the 2 of them. Henry Shefflin and Tommy Walsh. Lads, congratulations to both of you for a start off. Henry, congratulations to yourself on a personal achievement today, of course. And watching the celebrations at the end, you were obviously completely thrilled with this. It still means an awful lot to you.
Of course so, Michael. I think it was a special day, I suppose. We were written out a couple of times this year, and you love to silence your critics, first of all. But I think to win 9 All-Ireland medals, no one else in the history of hurling has ever done it. Myself and Noel to achieve that feat today was a special feeling, and you know, it was a major motivational fact for myself in the lead up to the match that if we got this, it was going to be special. And once the final whistle went, then I knew I could enjoy it, and I thoroughly did that.
At times in the last year or two in your career, Henry, reaching that milestone might have looked a bit remote because obviously you've been through hell and back with injuries.
Yeah, I suppose my own personal trials, I suppose, with the injuries and stuff like that. But I always believed that I could get back there. And the great thing about me is that I have men like Tommy and all the other fellas down through the years that have stood by me thick and thin. And some of the times I've got, you know, the higher profile out and stuff like that. But because of those players and because of the management team, I wouldn't have been sitting here 9 times in a row. So it's absolutely brilliant. And you know, I love doing it, and the buzz you get after a final whistle in All-Ireland goals is something special, and absolutely thrilled.
Yeah. Well, Tommy Walsh, you have experienced that, of course, yourself on many occasions. And it occurs to me that it's not just a great triumph for a player involved in it, but for everybody, for your family, your friends. We're here with your mum and dad who are across the way here, and some of the family.
Yeah, Michael, it's absolutely brilliant. I think down in Kilkenny, we absolutely love our hurling, and it's probably the first thing in all our lives. And you go back down to the clubs, and they'll probably be all home celebrating there tonight, and it means so much to the families and everyone in the parish. So we're delighted tonight.
By the way, who did you take the hurling from, the mum or the dad?
Well, the father hurled.
Mum, she says. Yeah.
Well, Daddy hurled is about 48, so another 19 years left for me.
Speaking of which, you've done it all in the game. Nothing to prove, Kilkenny or yourself. Have you the motivation for this for another year?
Well, the way I always looked at it is I think your head will go before your legs. So as long as I stay hungry, I'll still hopefully here.
The man in the baseball cap on the sideline might make that decision for you as well. What about yourself, Henry? I mean, there has to be that little motivation now to go for the 10.
Jeez, Michael. No, I think, you know, I suppose at this stage of my career, I think once I get through the winter and injury-free, and, you know, I think I'll just reflect on it and see how it goes. But, you know, it's been wonderful times, and we're privileged in Kilkenny. And I know, you know, sometimes I love to see underdogs win, like last weekend with Donegal, but we're absolutely delighted that Kilkenny are still at the top, and we'll try and stay there as long as possible.
All right, lads. Well, I've absolutely no doubt whatsoever that they will, Des. And on a personal note, I have to say to the two lads here, it's been a privilege on behalf of hurling fans everywhere to see you guys play and to be in your company. Thank you very much indeed. Back to you, Des.
Thank you indeed, Michael. Well, that's the view of the Kilkenny people in Dublin. What about the Kilkenny folk in Kilkenny? Marty Morrissey is down there. Let's join him.
Well, as you can imagine, this, it might be their 34th All-Ireland title, but it's as good as their first because they're just really enjoying the wonderful success. I'm joined by two men who between them have 12 All-Ireland medals. This is Charlie Carter and Noel Skeen. Charlie, what was your view? Was this one of the Kilkenny's finest performances?
It is another great performance by Kilkenny, Marty. I suppose today again they showed why they're the greatest team of all time. They're on the pace of the game. Unlike the last day, they're on the pace of the game right from the off today, and I mean they never gave Galway a chance there, you know.
What was the turning point for you?
Well, look, I suppose the real turning point came just after half-time there when Cyril Donlan's goal was blew back. Maybe Joe Canning's shot hit the post and we went down and got a point off it, and then Cyril Donlan got sent off, and once Cyril was sent off it was game, set and match Kilkenny, you know.
Bit of history today, because I know you've 9 All-Ireland medals with some time, Noel Skeen, but Henry Shefflin and Noel Hickey joined you at the top of the pedestal.
Yeah, it's great for the two lads now to reach Noel and Henry to reach 9, and I mean there's a lot of hard work in that, Marty, and I mean to reach 9 All-Ireland medals, it's a team game, and you must remember you won't reach anything unless you have a good team around you. But I'd like to say congratulations to the two boys, you know.
And you saw Henry Shefflin when he went through all the injuries, and you know, because you're in the gym with him, how difficult it's been.
I saw Henry Shefflin hardly able to walk into the gym in Hotel Kilkenny, and also last year with the shoulder, and the work rate that he went through and the effort he put in to get back to, we said, be able to perform at the highest level again was fantastic. And I might as well tell you, any medals and any achievement and any awards you get, he's well worth it after all the work he put in. It's unbelievable, like, you know.
Charlie, you played with Kilkenny, Noel did. Is this the greatest Kilkenny team of all time?
There were before today, Martin, there certainly are after today.
Well done. Congratulations to everybody in Kilkenny. Charlie and Noel, thank you both for joining us. Let me tell you that not alone are they celebrating their 34th All-Ireland title, but we've discovered that Elvis is alive and well in Kilkenny as well. From all of us in Kilkenny, back to you.
They don't get tired of winning, do they? All right, we've lots more to come in the programme, but now it's time to get reaction to the minor final. It saw Dublin, who won the football title last week, seeking a very rare minor double. They were up against the favourites Tipperary. How did it turn out? Well, let's find out now from John Kenny.
The drawing game between the sides was a thriller, with Tipperary looking for their 19th title and their first since 2007, pegged back by a late score from Paul Winters for Dublin, which forced the game into today's replay, with Tipperary remaining odds-on favourites against the Dublin side looking for their first title since 1965. And it was Winters who opened the scoring in the first minute with a long-range free for Dublin. But Tipperary dominated the rest of the half, with John McGrath scoring 3 frees, while Mark McCarthy scored the opening goal for Tipperary after just 10 minutes. McCarthy's goal setting the tone for the rest of the half. James Roach scored a couple of Dublin points to reduce the arrears, but Tipperary got their second goal 5 minutes after their first, as Ty Gallagher put past Kieran McGowan in the Dublin goal. Gallagher running in unopposed to fire in Tipperary's second goal. Tipperary were well on top, and by half-time they were way ahead. This excellent score from John McGrath helped his side to a 2-10 to 5-point half-time lead. Tip continued their points plunder after the restart and remained well in control after an excellent first half, and indeed got the opening score of the second, as McGrath took his personal tally to 8 points with another fine score from the sideline.